Hello. Today I'm going to talk about incidental language and overhearing. What is overhearing? Your child is hearing now, all the time. Whenever you talk to your child, the child listens, understands, responds. But overhearing is when you're not talking to your child, you're talking to anybody around where the child is in the hearing bubble, in this speech bubble. And the child can hear what you're saying to the other person. The child should be listening and understanding. That is overhearing. You may call it over listening also. This is very important because the child has to learn a lot of language. You can't give so much language all the time. For example, the research has shown that a child who's 4 years old, when he goes to a regular school, the child has heard 40 million words by that time. Now, one person cannot give 40 million words to a child, right? So if the child is only listening to when you are talking to the child, you will not be able to give so many words and so much language. But when you're talking to others or others are talking to each other and the child is listening, the child will expand the vocabulary enormously. Also, the research shows that when a child can speak 100 words, 80% of the words, that means 80 words out of them, the child has learned through overhearing, not through direct teaching or not through direct talking. That means your child also has to understand and imbibe 80 words by listening to other people than you. Therefore, overhearing is very important. That 80% is the incidental language, which is a very big part of the language which the child has to learn. Right? Coming to the auditory goals, you have understood that we are only working on overhearing and incidental language. Coming to receptive language goals, the child should be able to understand the introduction and pleasantries. Introduction, like suppose somebody asks your child, what's your name? The child should be able to answer that. But not only that, if somebody asks your child, what is your age? Or how old are you? The child has to understand that both questions have the same answer. It's the same meaning. Also, the child should be able to understand when you say, what's your pet name? What's your surname? What's your full name? So all these terms come in the introduction. Coming to pleasantries, whenever we meet someone, we generally ask, how are you? So the child should also understand that when somebody is asking, how are you? What is the answer expected? So the child has to learn to say, I'm fine, thank you. When we are talking about these pleasantries, sometimes the children are taught like a parrot. What's your name? How old are you? Which school you go to? What's your mother's name? What's your father's name? And the child goes on repeating that when you are talking without even understanding and comprehending what you are saying. If you want to check that, ask your child, what is your name? Suppose your child's name is Manoj. The child will say, Manoj. Do you know what is my name? Should be your next question. If the child again answers Manoj, that means the child has associated the word name with the word Manoj but does not understand the full meaning of the question. So, therefore, work on that it is not a parrot type learning, it's learning with understanding. Coming to expressive language goals, the child should be able to introduce himself or herself. When I say, come, I've got some friends over, come and meet my friend, tell her about yourself. So the child should be able to say, my name is so-and-so. Or even not only that, we always don't say, my name is Jaspal. I can also say, I'm Jaspal. So if the child says, I'm Manoj, that's fine. The child has to learn natural way of interaction and introduction. Also, the child should be able to ask, how are you? Anybody the child meets in pleasantries, the child should be able to ask, how are you? Another thing we expect this week from the child is to use a lot of social language. What is social language? May I, please, sorry, thank you, do you mind? All these are a part of social language. So when your child is done something wrong or something happened, the child should be able to use apologies. So the child should be able to say sorry or my apologies. You know what we tell the child? Say sorry. We don't say apologize. So that's a new vocabulary the child should learn. And anything you want, for example, the child should be able to say, may I have one more cookie? Do you mind if I have one more cookie? I love these cookies. I would like to have one more cookie. So this is all social language. It is not only sorry, please, and thank you. So work on that. Another thing, what we need the child should be able to use is intensifiers. What are intensifiers? Intensifiers are a different degree of adjectives. For example, your child says, you ask the child, do you like it? The child says, yes, I like it. I like it very much. And the same way, the child should be able to use, I want much more. Suppose you give ice cream to the child. Put one small spoon in a bowl and give the child. The child will say, I need more, I want more. So the child says, I want more ice cream. So you put little more. Now the child should be able to say, I want much more. I want the full bowl. I want the full katori. So this way, these are intensifiers where you go to the next degree and we use that language during the interaction so that children learn that language. Okay, speech goals. We are working on ch and sh simultaneously so that the child understand the discrimination clearly and understand where to use ch and where to use sh. For example, you're making sandwich and you ask the child, do you want to put jam or you want to put cheese? You have a choice. Either you have jam sandwich or you have cheese sandwich. You have a choice. Which one you would like to have? So much ch you are using during the conversation. The same way when you can say the child, take the cheese sandwich and share with your brother or share with your sister. And if there's no sibling nearby, you can say, would you like to share it with me? I would share my jam sandwich with you. So you are bringing sh, vocabulary with sh, during the interaction in a meaningful way. All these goals can be reinforced through stories. Remember that? So pick up a book and see what are the words or the vocabulary around ch and sh, which can be used in that story as much as possible. Coming to books, we are continuing the same book, my very first book of colors. So here now, last week also we introduced the same book, no? So what are we going to do now? We expect little more from the child. So I will not open the page and I'll ask, what is this? A bluebird. Can you show me where is bluebird in this book? Can you show me a bluebird in this book? Can you open the page where bluebird is in this book? And the child goes like this and the child should be able to give you bluebird. And if child doesn't do, you do that. That's right. That's a blue bird. I'm not pointing out to this. This is just for understanding that this is blue shade. Okay. So the child should be able to say blue bird. Very good. Can we find the red fire truck? Red fire truck. I didn't use red fire engine. Why? Because truck has R in the middle of the word. So therefore, I'm changing it. So this is red fire truck. Yeah, this is red fire truck, but this is blue. Oh, white. No, there is red written in this book. I have to find, yay, here it is. Red fire truck. So the child has to say red fire truck. One more thing you are introducing this week through this book is the shade of black and white. So can you find some black object in this book? And the child goes through, that's black umbrella. Now where is it written black? I have to find that here. And then you say black umbrella. The same way you can go to white. But remember, white is not a color. White means no color. So then you introduce that and see, here it is. White. Now let us see what is white. Here. White snowman. So this is a white snowman. There's no color. There's no color. This is a white snowman. So you are introducing color and no color and white and black, new vocabulary through this book. Okay? Coming to tips. What we expect is the child should be able to play age-appropriate games. When you go to buy some games, there are boxes and games available in the market. You will see that always the age group is written outside. For the children 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 3 to 5, all that. So buy the game or use the game which is according to the age of the child. So we say age-appropriate games. The child should be able to play those games. When you're playing those games, sometimes as parents, what we do, we make the child win and we purposely cheat to lose the game because we want to encourage the child to play, motivate the child to play. Child should be able to enjoy the game. That's all right in the beginning. But if you make it a habit and every time the child is winning, it's not going to help the child. Because the child will be facing failure in life later on in the school with friends, will not be able to digest that failure and will throw tantrums. So therefore, always play a fair game and the child should learn to accept failure and learn from the mistakes. You know, success is dependent on failure. We learn from our failures. So the child should be able to play a very fair game, not with you only, but with friends, cousins, siblings, other children. That's what I mean. Also at this stage, we expect the child to use associative play. The child should be at the stage of associative play. If not, then you help the child to come to the associative play from parallel play or solitary play. When we play with other children, there are so many advantages. So the child will learn to share. Child will develop theory of mind. Child will develop social language. Child will also learn how to learn from mistakes. And the child will be able to do a teamwork. Child will be able to adjust in a team and is ready to go for extracurricular activities. So we start with associative play and then put your child in some extracurricular activities where the child has to do teamwork. This way, the child will develop a lot of conversational skills and communication skills with other children, and that will help the language development and speech clarity of the child. Okay. If you have any question, please write down. I will get back to you. And if you want to view any other episode before this, which you have missed, the link is given below, which will take you to 40 weeks session plan. See you next week. Thank you.